someone wanted to explore humility and vulnerability and was wondering if they are related. So let's explore these two topics. So, what is humility? Well, humility is really our nature. Humility is this openness. Humility is really, I don't know. This humility is really like a beginner's mind. It's open. It's fresh. It's innocent. It doesn't know. And this is our true nature. Our true nature is wide open. Our true nature is innocent. Now, when I say I don't know here, I am referring to the mind. The mind saying, I know. So, coming to this realization of I don't know is the mark of true humility. There's an innocence. There's a nakedness. Because I know is a sort of protection. I know is a closure. So I don't know is an openness. We actually express it pretty accurately. I don't know. Hands come out and open. Hands are out and open. And there's an innocence to this. There's a nakedness to this. There's a vulnerability to this. I don't know. See, to truly not know something, it is vulnerability. This I know is like a covering. It's like an armor. The more you know, you've collected, you've acquired this knowledge. And it seems to be some sort of covering. It seems to be like a protection. Now, if I'm speaking too vaguely about what you know, I mean literally everything. I know this is a microphone. I know this is a camera. I know those are homes. I know that's a window. I know that's a TV. I know this is a chair. This I know. But to come to a complete realization that I don't know, it's incredibly naked and innocent and vulnerable. It's wide open. It's empty. I know is you've filled yourself up with knowledge, the knowledge that you have acquired. What is prior to I know? I don't know. I don't know is prior to I know. So you see how I'm already segueing into how they are related, because vulnerability is just like it. It's this openness. It's unguarded, unprotected, undefended. It's innocent. It's intimate. It's exposed. So you see how I'm speaking about I know, knowledge being like armor. This knowledge is like a armor that's covering our true nature. And like I said, our true nature is humility and vulnerability. So to let go of everything that you know is the ultimate humility. It's the ultimate vulnerability. To let go of everything you know is actually what you would call a death. Death would be the ultimate vulnerability. To let go of everything that you know is to expose yourself. It's to be unguarded, unprotected. It's to be naked, innocent. And because there's no protection, because there's no covering, because there's no defense system, there's an intimacy. And our true nature is the most intimate. It is intimacy. It's out of I don't know that arises this longing to know. Unless you come to the realization of I don't know, and it has to be sincere. It has to be a sincere, an honest, a genuine, I don't know. There's no pretending. Then there won't be any longing to truly know. So in a way, it feels like you've emptied yourself out completely. Just being totally empty. Empty of all the knowledge. To just simply be. Without the mind saying, I know this, I know that. Without jumping to conclusions about what this is. The experience is, we have to use words to describe, but there's just this immediacy, this intimacy, this innocence, this nakedness, this vulnerability, this humility. It's very much like a newborn baby. It's this wide-eyed wonder. There's this freshness because you haven't taken the past, which is the known, and then put it on this moment, creating this conceptual filter. So when this is then realized, there's a knowing without mind. It's a deeper knowing. The knowing of mind it's very much like a filter. It's superficial. And to simply just experience the moment without labeling, without making conclusions, without interpreting, without describing, that activity has come to rest. That covering has come to rest. It's a sort of unveiling. Like that was the curtain, the knowledge that's veiling this. So then you're just experiencing this without the veil of knowledge. There's just simply knowing, but it's a knowing without mind. It's a knowing, but it's a non-conceptual knowing. The mind is a sort of conceptual knowing. But this is the knowing of reality. That knowing is reality. That beyond or prior to this conceptual reality that we have created, that's a cloud, that's a house, that's a tree, that's a dog, that's a car. All of this is a conceptual reality. That then, without that activity, without that veil, we then are experiencing reality as it is, prior to knowledge, prior to I know. So that's that vulnerability. It's like exposing yourself. You expose yourself. It's like you've exposed yourself and now you're naked. That's why there's this vulnerability. It feels like I don't want to expose myself. That's why people fear vulnerability, being vulnerable. I don't want to be open. I don't want to be naked. I don't want to be so intimate. I don't want that closeness. So then there's this kind of protective mechanism. There's this kind of in between sort of say. It's like an armoring, a shielding, a guarding. So on this journey, it's almost like this journey of unlearning, that you're letting go of the known. It's this journey of what people call like the healing journey. It's this journey of being more and more vulnerable. The journey of opening the heart. That it's this vulnerability that opens the heart. And you see all of this, I know. It's a sort of protection. So in terms of healing, we don't really even see our own wounding because we've protected ourselves. There's a wound, but then we've protected ourselves, suited up with the armor, holding the sword and shield, and it's as if we don't even know that there's some wounding there. It's only by taking off all of that protective covering that then we actually see what's underneath it, sort of say. This is a lot of like the healing of like seeing that which is hidden, the shadow aspect, the unconscious. Becoming conscious of that which is unconscious, that we're unaware of this wounding, but we're also afraid to take off that armor and see what's there. We're afraid to open our heart. We're afraid to put our guard down. We're afraid to expose ourselves and just simply be as we are. And in a way, this knowledge, we've identified with this knowledge, and it becomes more of a defense mechanism. So this humility is dropping that defense mechanism. This vulnerability is dropping the guards. And this is what most people feel. There's a fear that rises. The fear of being vulnerable. The fear of not knowing. What are you saying? That everything that I know is not true? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And there's a big fear that arises. To let go of everything that I know, including who I think I am, there's a big fear that arises. So there's really a fear of humility. There's a fear of vulnerability. There's a fear of our true nature. But our true nature is reality. To know yourself as the one reality, it requires complete humility and complete vulnerability. There's no other way. So this relative journey of what we want to call maybe healing, the spiritual search, is just, there gets to this point where it's just, it all has to be let go of. Like I said, it's a sort of death, letting go of everything. And what is then experienced is the beauty of this vulnerability, the beauty of humility, the beauty of this innocence, this intimacy. And these are just words trying to express the inexpressible. You can't describe the indescribable. It's not possible. They're just pointers, of course. But there's no way to get around it. There's no way to get around it. It's not like you're going to realize truth continuing to guard yourself, defend yourself. It's not like you're going to realize truth, holding on to everything that you know. So first there is this fear of humility. But it's like as this journey continues, you become more and more humble. As this journey continues, you become more and more vulnerable. Experientially, it feels like this from the perspective of being on the journey. But like I said, it's more of our nature is already vulnerable. Our nature is already humble. It is vulnerability. It is humility. So it's not really that we're becoming more, just this letting go of the knowledge, letting go of the shielding. It's just realizing what is prior to all of that. What is here without that? What are you before someone told you who you are? What are you before a name was given to you? What are you before the identity you created? What are you before all the books that you read, all the things that you learned? In order to experience that, then you see that there needs to be a letting go of all of that. Because what you are is the essence of everything. Anything that has been added to you, like a name, like an identity, like a role, like knowledge, it's non-essential. It's not essentially what you are. So in a way, it's almost like a covering that's simply covering our essential nature. And in taking off the armor, in dropping the knowledge, removing that protection that we are afraid of taking off, there's just this innocence, this nakedness, this intimacy. And you also experience that, paradoxically, although we are completely vulnerable in the sense of open, exposed, non-resistant, unguarded, undefended, unprotected, innocent, intimate, and naked, paradoxically, we are invulnerable. And in this sense, I'm using the word to mean incapable of hurting or harming. That our true nature needs no protection because it can never be harmed or hurt. That our true nature is fearless because our true nature is love. In the journey of being more and more vulnerable and opening up the heart, you experience what's in the heart. You experience the treasure in your chest. Metaphorically speaking, this treasure chest is the love that you are. It requires opening the heart. And it's not so easy. This is what we're afraid of. Because the more and more we open up, the more we are experiencing all of that which is hidden, all of that wounding, those suppressed and repressed emotions, those hidden emotions, that as we take off more and more of this armoring and expose ourselves, we are experiencing all of the stuff that we have been hiding from ourselves. As much as we put on this protection and protect ourselves from the world, protect ourselves from others, and don't allow others to see our wounding, don't allow others to see ourselves be vulnerable. This has been going on for such a long time. It's like we forget what's really here. We forget what we have hidden from ourselves. So then what you experience is all these emotions come up the more open we are. The more you remove, the less protection you are wearing. You experience yourself as more and more sensitive. The more you cover up this body, it's like there's a desensitization that happens. Very similar to wearing a very thick glove. It's like you can't really feel the temperature. It's like there's less sensitivity. But there's the most sensitivity with the naked hand. So like this, by covering up, we've lost that sensitivity. We've desensitized ourselves. In a way, we've numbed ourselves to our own emotions. By simply just removing this armor, we start to sense more. We start to feel our emotions more and more. This is then experienced in the healing journey. You're just feeling more and more. All of a sudden, you feel like I've just become more and more emotionally sensitive. I don't know what it is. Well, it's because you're opening up, because you're removing all of that guarding, all the guarding that made you feel safe and protected. But our true nature is the true safety. Because that which can never be hurt, never harmed, is the only safety. So as much as there's a fear, along the journey, you come to realize that what you are is fearless. That which is fearless is love. Love is the absence of fear. Love is the absence of separation. To experience everything as yourself, what protection do you need? You don't walk around wearing a bunch of armor. There's a nakedness. It's just you. The safety, it's just you. That you are home, and home is everywhere. So, a lot of fear along the journey of humbling ourselves or taking off the armor. And yes, hopefully you can see that the two are very related. humility and vulnerability. And it's very significant and experiential in the journey of just life in a way just humbling you, life in a way stripping you naked. And ultimately coming to the realization that you are life itself. Hope this helps. See you in the next one.